Hey yo. Welcome back, Wi-Fi's. This is my second live of the day, but I do anything for you, dear, anything. Okay, all those notes are all off. But the point was, I do it for the people, for the culture. I'm coming up into my season 2 break, and y'all know next season is gonna be Wireless World Order season 3. So I last time I left y'all without a dope beat to step to, and I'm not gonna do that this time. So go ahead and do me a favor on your way in and like this live, because when you like it, well, I love it. Also, make sure you share with some people who might be sitting around with a Chardonnay and ain't got nothing else better to do. Baby, this is where you want to be. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel and make sure that you hit the notification bell for notifications of uploads and when I go live, like now, so that you don't miss it. So you get that nice little notification that I am live. And for any of my Wi-Fi's who have come into the chat, because y'all know I'm prone to talking when can't nobody hear me, go ahead and make sure you drop me a fire headphones emoji to let me know that I am actually being heard. So today I have with me a guest that I am very excited to share with you. It is my good friend Germany Inc., and she is here to talk to and with me about Black women and having terminal illness, because we are the caregivers of the world. We don't always get the benefit of a lot of the love that we give and share sometimes, not even just being intentional with that. Sometimes we are just such super women that it's like, what do you do when your super woman ain't supering, when it ain't giving what needs to be gave? So I'm going to bring my girl Germany Inke in so that we can, open up a discussion that we don't always get to have as Black women prior to going into that season of our lives. So if you will, with me, welcome in. Go ahead and start my applause early. My girl, Germany Inc.
Hey.
Look, I had to start your applause early.
Yes.
Welcome. It is so good to have you over
Thank
here
you.
in room 303.
Hey.
So I
Thank you.
started off when we were backstage by asking you, how are you today?
Yeah, I feel like that Rihanna thing where she was like, honey, just fake it. I have had worse days and better days. Right now, your energy is giving me life. So right now, I'm gonna say I am good.
Good, good.
Right.
That is good to hear. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if I can't do nothing else for this next hour, I'm gonna make you feel good. I'm gonna give you some energy. Energy.
Right.
Right? So there's something I've been dying to know about you.
Yes.
Where did you get your name Germany Inc. from? What is the origin of that?
Whew, so I was originally born Laquita. So we already know I was Chiquita Banana. I was all these things when I was little. My mother, who has been gone for about 5.5, 6 years now,
My condolences.
um, I was telling her, as you grow as a person, you really want to be who you are, not who your parents want you to be. My daughter actually gave me the name for how I do business. She was like, you act like a German. It was a joke. She encountered kind of a not necessarily hostile, but hostile conversation between me and another businessman. And sometimes in the business world, they don't respect you when you're not a man, but the way I handled the situation, it was like this joke going forward. And I just embraced it. Of course, the ink part comes from the abundance of tattoos, but I then embodied Germany ink. And that's become my brand. That's the name on everything. That's how I flowered into, I'm a hell of a businesswoman, I believe. And I just embrace it.
I love it. I love it. I really do because I'm the same way. A lot of people don't understand when you're in that business or finance or law enforcement, whatever those male dominated industries are. It's not even necessarily that you are being, I tell people I'm not aggressive, I'm assertive.
There it is.
You've just got to put what you need out there in the atmosphere. And I think so many more women are catching that, flavor and beginning to understand that's part of our manifestation energy.
Yes, yes. We need to do that a lot more too. Yes,
Yeah, it's making sure we're standing in what we stand for.
absolutely, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about your brand. Where can everyone find you and what all do you do?
Oh, wow. I do. I am. There's a saying about the jack of all trades, but I'm a master of all the ones that I do. So I am an artist. I paint, I sing, I write. I'm a life coach. I just started doing logistics. So I do everything creative, is what I tell most people. I've done tax preparation. I used to be working as a therapist. I'm too emotional for that. But with the brand right now, I'm on TikTok just to like have fun and kind of reel people into embodying themselves. So I'm doing that currently, and everything is just Germany because I am also a podcaster. So I'm on Spotify and iTunes the Apple podcast station as Germany Inc. and Co. or Germany Inc. and Company.
Perfect, perfect. And I do follow you on TikTok. So now I'm coming over to Spotify. I had no reason until today to be on Spotify at all. None.
I love
None.
Spotify.
But now I am coming over. I do really enjoy your TikToks though, because it
Thank
is
you.
always about seeing the silver lining in whatever cloud that happens to drift into your day.
And that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite one was the one with was that your niece or your granddaughter?
My
Niece.
granddaughter.
Yeah, and you could just see that you still had, a lot of people don't want to show their vulnerabilities on
That was
social
hard.
media for good reason. But it,
Yes.
it did. It gave me a little bit of wind in my sails to say, you know what? You've got a little bit more in you than what you think, and we don't always put that forward. So for people that don't know what we're talking about, I'd like you to
Yes.
share a little bit, because the subject of today was about Black women and illness, and so I do want
Absolutely.
you to share with them about how you're finding wellness through your illness.
Well, outside of in my younger days dealing with mental illness, the things that we've been plagued with for ages, physically, I am currently being dealing with the fact that I'm a type 2, finally, they've decided, diabetic. Finally got that too. If people are not familiar with A1Cs, I have a great A1C. It's better than my grandmother's. But I have stage 5 kidney disease. And kidney disease was because of not being in well health with my diabetes. But I had improper education, honestly. So my sister Pamela Harris, she's a holistic person, so she trains me. I have a friend of mine very close. He's a dog trainer, but he's also a trainer, Marquise Hamilton. But then I'm in love, so that helps. And
Oh, wait a
yeah,
minute. That is new. Wait a
yeah,
minute. Hold up. Wait a
yeah, right.
minute. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank you. It helps. Love is a medicine. I don't think people understand, but I used to be a gym rat. I used to be very into my body, used to bodybuild. I fell
You did.
off.
You
I,
did.
I,
I used to see you.
I used to just be like, yes, I literally let depression take over. Mental illness is still health that we don't talk about, we don't get into. I had a stroke at 40, a heart attack at 41. And at 42, I found out I had a major swelling. I didn't know why. And I looked like Professor Clump. Nobody could say, you've drank too much water, not enough water. Like nobody had an answer. I went and waited for over 10 hours to find out I had kidney disease. So I was petrified and I was already so far gone. I was already at, I think, 14% kidney function, and that's both combined. The
Wow.
problem was I wasn't taking it. I was like, well, how do we fix it? And, some doctors are rude, and Black women do have that issue with hospitals. And I say that men have with police. Some of us experience it, some don't. I got my kidney function up to 23, but currently it's fallen to 5.
Ah,
So I'm now I have to start dialysis, but when we get in our own head, that's where we are. So it's been a fight. People won't talk about it. They won't be vulnerable. It makes you tired. It messes with your cognitive skills. I'll do something and it completely be like, what was I doing? And the day may be a wrap after that. Like it's hard
yes,
to
ma'am.
through that, to go to work. And I work for myself, but I don't want to get out of the bed. I don't want to, do be a life coach on those days. I don't want to. I literally have doctors looking at me now like, you look like you okay. And I'm like, because I'm a fighter.
Fighter.
As Black women, we are warriors. I'm not going out like that. So,
Yes, ma'am. And pausing for a second for the cause, I just want to welcome some that are in the chat with us. Rashawn, you trooping. Rashawn is in the second live with me for today, and I just love it. We also have JoJo Anjou, who is my good
I
friend
like that.
Jovan, and she is wishing you mercy.
Thank
And
you.
let me just say, you said a lot,
I know.
okay? You put a whole lot out there for us to
Yes.
jump into. You're very right about Black women being underdiagnosed, being undertreated for a lot of things that preventative medicine could have stepped in, and being undereducated.
Yes.
Just about our own bodies, because most of the medicine is not even geared towards treating us and knowing what our particular presentations are going to look like.
Right.
So, did you deal with a lot of frustration, like compounding in that situation because of the ignorance and neglect of these
Baby.
doctors?
Yes. Baby. So, what's very disheartening without, I used to work with Connected Radio, and I started going live to
You
tell
did.
people, like, you have to fight. I have never experienced what, people talk about all the time. Like, oh, the healthcare system's not for us. I'm like, no, not us. Like, I hadn't experienced it. So, literally, at some point, it was, hey, I know something's wrong. When I kept going, it was like everything looks fine. I'm like, okay, never mind. I kept going home, but the particular time I went back, I said, listen, I keep having certain issues, and I was quite upset because I had just had a hospital stay a year or so prior with my heart, and they told me, and I quote, take care of your body, your kidneys are not functioning properly. Not that, you're going to need a kidney anytime soon, and nothing in detail. So I was like, oh, okay, well, work out, eat better. So I started training again, thinking that was going to be the fix. I know how to have a holistic diet, a diabetic diet. I'm pescatarian. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I got this. It wasn't working. In the middle of a session, I literally couldn't breathe, and the swelling wouldn't go away. We had to stop. We woke up every day 5:30. We trained till about 6:30. And every day at the time, between my sister and my best friend, they're like, why are you so swole? I said, oh, I'm diabetic. I'm going to just go in the house, put my legs up, because nobody said anything about my kidneys going to fail. So that became its own fight later, because I'm like, you guys could have told me this a year ago.
Yeah, so you could prepare for that.
Well, if I got back 23, well, I went from 14 when they told me, and I recorded it, because I was so livid. When I was on radio, I started telling my audience, like, we have to fight. So I started recording my conversations with these doctors. And it will amaze you the things that they've said. It was already like, oh, well, no, we're not going to, don't even worry about it. We're just going to maintain it. Like, how do you improve? You have to be able to improve. Our body heals while we're asleep. So it was very frustrating. And honestly, the up and down between care. I'm not in Charlotte anymore. So doctors change. I'm in PA, but it helps as far as the peace, because that is a factor when you're trying to be healthy.
Absolutely. You have to have people around you that you can trust. And I find that to be difficult just in general for Black women. So you touched on something that I want to look, pause. And you touched on something when you were talking because I know, like, I think my 39th year of life, like, I didn't think any years of my life would get better than my 33rd year, but my 39th year of life, I was like, oh, baby, I was like,
Right?
SINGLE. Yeah. Like, it was like the greatest year of my life.
Right.
But when I hit 40,
Girl.
baby, I hit it like a wall and I could not understand it because I had been in perfect health the year before. And I
Right.
found I had my birthday in July and by August I was in the hospital.
Oh no.
And I've seen with my own son and with myself how they will send you around the wheel of guess what this might be based on some symptoms and never send you through actual like rigorous testing. So
Absolutely.
you make such a valid point when you speak to black women about being vigilant
Right.
about our care because so
Right.
many of those physiological things go into our mental health, like all these arguments we're having back and forth about black women and their attitudes.
Right.
Well,
We deserve that attitude in some cases.
some of us are hormonally imbalanced, some of
There
us
we
are
go.
dealing with physical ailments that you don't see because we're being misdiagnosed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I concur there. A lot of heartache in being sick is the treatment of character. I guess I can call it like you didn't know. What do you mean? You didn't feel your body. It's like, I'm a resilient Black woman. And I know a lot of resilient Black women. You have to, I think people don't understand what goes into being a Black woman. And like even the TikTok trend, I kept hearing people say,
And
we can't
don't.
have anything. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even that. It's like we embrace so much and we keep fighting.
I'm so glad you brought up the TikTok trend, not to cut into what you were saying.
That,
But I am so upset because it really everything we have, it started off as such a good thing and now every time I go over there because
girl.
the algorithm gives you what you like and what you follow. It's
Right.
just people telling and if that's how she feel then I'm like
That is how I feel. But I mentor too. Me and my love, we talk about logic and perspective. Everybody wants to apply their perspective to how you live and the things that you do, and it's like that's fine. Your perspective is fine for you. For me, it being a powerful, and I've said it before, a powerful Black woman. If you are a mom, even if you're not a mom, you have to wake up. And I have a saying called "Wake up, kick ass." We have to do it. We have to do it. There's no, I don't want to today. You ain't gonna sit there when your baby walk in that room, whether it's your man, whether it's your child, and say, we need food, or I need this, or I need that. We literally embrace the pain and we fight, and that's part of the problem I've been trying to preach to. I just decided to start smallly telling my story on TikTok because we have to, even for our men and them, for us, stop just hoarding it.
yes. Yes, and I think for me, the thing about what you share, on your platforms that really speaks to me is the fact that I've seen you go through so many seasons and still have that smile, still
Mhm.
have that joy, still be looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think
Absolutely.
that's inspiring.
Thank
Now, you came on here today and blindsided me with your love
you.
because we were talking about how black women find themselves, like when you talked about people we can trust, how we find
Yeah,
ourselves, especially if we're sick and we can't be the caregiver. It can be a very lonely time
girl.
for
Yes.
a black woman, and I've seen you ride the waves of the ups and downs of that, so you're gonna have to share, you're gonna have to dish.
So
you
yes,
got
the
more you got more than 3 minutes over here, so I need to hear it.
the dig. So honestly, one of the things that I preach to, and that I feel like a flower child. I believe holistically that love is its own medicine. And the guy I'm speaking of, he's actually been a host on my show before, but when we met, we just hung out a lot. He was supportive. And I'm a poet as well, and people make me nervous. And he was like, "Not you. You seem so profound, so this." And it was like, it depends on the energy of people that you're with. But it started as just like we were hanging buddies. He was there to listen. He was there to be like, every time you go, I'm there just to be supportive. And I didn't have a certain amount of support that I needed from my mate prior. I was doing more of me being there for him. And that's okay because sometimes that happens. And we're still friends. But this guy, throughout my sickness and my trials and tribulations, he's actually been there. I've gotten sick because I truck, I do logistics, and he's been present. I got sick on the road. It
What
was,
don't you do?
girl,
What
I don't
don't you
know.
do?
I
You
do
got
everything.
you like a
Everything.
Jamaican. You got
I
40,
am.
45 jobs.
I
Okay.
do. And I'm going to keep piling them on. I want so much to have and give. So when I'm inquisitive about it, I just do it. For what I'm doing now and being sick, he's the guy that's like, if you don't feel good, say you don't feel good. And it's sometimes it's hard for Black women to say, I just don't want to. I do go into my baby mode, like I want to pound, turn into my 5-year-old granddaughter. But he's the guy that's like, hey, if you're not okay, say you're not okay. I want to be here to support you. And that itself, at some point, I was like, oh my God. And it keeps growing. He's very supportive. We have our moments, but when I'm down, he's Superman for me. Hey, what do you need me to do? What needs to happen? And I've been missing that. And just those little things he does for me. And like, even if he just called and be like, hey, baby, it literally, my whole everything is like, hey, it's just, I need that energy. His energy itself, when someone is genuine for you, when my mother was dying, I just loved on her, hugged her, and I kissed her. I told her I loved her. The little things, it's like it makes me want to fight. It makes me want to get up in the morning. On my sickest days, he's like, I need to know what you need me to do. I need to know how I can help. I don't get that a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's most people like, I
Yeah.
hope you okay, girl. Let me know.
Let me know if
you
you
know,
need
and then
something.
you go, hey, I need. Ooh,
Ooh,
sometimes
I
it's just
wish you
like
had
here,
told me earlier. If
an
you had
hour
told
ago,
me earlier, I would. Well, I didn't need it till now, but
right?
yeah. But see,
I mean,
let me. If you don't find nobody that can help, just call me tomorrow.
right. And I got you, and then don't answer the phone.
Exactly.
Being sick and powerful, being sick and influential, people have to remember a rock breaks. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, she got it. She's strong. I get so many, you got this because you're strong. What happens when I'm not? Who's going
Mm,
to be there? What happens when I want to be vulnerable and say, hey guys, this is ugly sometimes. I had a hospital stay where my sugar was so high, I accidentally gave myself too much insulin and almost died.
mm,
And
mm,
he swung in like, what do we do? He's afraid of giving me my own medicine. He's like, teach me how to do this because I want you, not for him. I want you to be okay. Now, my son, and even to that love, my son is my anchor. That
mm,
boy, he ain't a boy, he's 27, he's a grown man. He's like, Mom, you good? Mom, you need me? Boys love their mom. My daughter does too, but I have that love. My sisters, people who I know genuinely love me. So not only am I in love and when it's in deeper than, oh, he cute, oh, he's sexy. It's not that kind of love. I try to teach people that love has levels. I'm in love with the energy he provides. Because it
And
makes me
energy
want
doesn't
to,
lie. Yeah,
hello,
energy doesn't lie.
hello.
We can put numbers on a page. We can talk about hypergamy. We can talk about all of these elements, but you can literally be sleeping with the enemy.
Hello.
It has to, you know it, like you said, the people that put you at ease and put you at peace and the people that keep you in anxiety, you can feel it. Your body is a litmus test of
Yes.
those things. So you brought up one thing that I do want to go back and kind of gauge it. So many people have the luxury of being like, I don't need nobody, I'm good all by myself.
Yes.
And it's not until, because I did do a podcast months back now in the summer with my friend Randy, and he's been paralyzed. He's a
Oh,
paraplegic from the nipple line down.
I've seen that.
And I knew Randy in his former life, baby, and you couldn't.
He was the man.
He was busy. Okay.
Okay, he was Dr. Love.
Yes, and now that now that life has slowed them down, I think the
Right.
most important thing is to treat people, with terminal illnesses, with disability, these things like they're still human people. But now that life, they're human, they have feelings. I'm gonna come
Right.
back to it. But now that life has slowed him down, he recognizes the value of friendships and relationships. So when you
Mhm.
talk to me about your circle, the group of people that give you energy, how instrumental do you feel like it is for people who aren't thinking about,
It's
you
imperative.
know, who
It's
aren't
a
thinking about that right now?
to me it's your food, your nutrition. It's love even from your sisters. Like that's why I like the follow train, like actually embracing someone genuinely. There's
Yep.
a saying that sometimes, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, but it references to sometimes a little thing like saying hello, a touch, somebody rubbing your face, giving you a hug, a smile.
Smile.
Those little things can change a person's life. I'm that corny. I call myself corny because I'm that person. People speak, I speak. Somebody wants $1 and I got it, I'm gonna give it to you. It's those little things you never know. I've saved a friend's life from suicide before. And never was I thinking like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna save her life. It was like, oh my God, you gotta go into action. Be able to call into action genuine people. It's like running a business. Your life, your body is a business.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have hired? Who's on the job that's going to help you win? I
Yeah.
do every now and then, like community check your circle, because some people may need to be terminated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That energy
Yeah.
is real.
It goes back to the energy because, like you
Yes.
said, if you have to lead with genuine intentions. And I think so many people think their intentions are genuine, but if you check your circle, it will it will check you back.
You got them all in the group sometimes.
I
Some people
agree.
are around for what they can get. Do the
Oh,
life, and people don't know the difference. It's like people are like, you don't seem sick because I'm not going to let it bother me. God knows when I'm sick. He's
yes.
just not giving me the but I'm not going
Yeah.
to sit here like, oh, I'm sick. It's no. You are what you think about. It's like the saying, you are what you eat. I am not going to just sit and be like, oh my God. Even with the relationship that I'm in, it's fresh, it's new. So
I
we're
know
still,
it is
you
because
know
we
what
just
I
talked. We
mean?
just talked a little bit back, baby, and we was having a
Yeah.
different conversation.
Oh, honey. Like my ex, it just that energy, it became draining actually for the both of us. So I won't
Yeah.
take anything from him, but
Yeah.
sometimes things just don't work. The woman he's with now fits perfectly for him. And I love it. I do. We were all in water at some point. Me and my guy now, we love the same things. We work this. It just, if you've ever met somebody who's like, I know you. I've known you from a past life or something. I know you. It's that. It's beyond familiar. It's comforting. I can literally look at a picture in his face and I'm like, it makes me feel good. But
See,
that's the thing.
people have to know you like I know you. I'm sorry to cut you off. People have to know you like I know you because so many women think they have to pander to get to that space. But baby, if anybody had talked to you a few months back, you were
Ooh,
like, I'm done with them, done with
girl.
everybody, finished with
Oh,
everything. Don't speak to me. I'm calling all my energy back. You
right.
were
I won't feel
you were
no.
team me self love. Do you feel
Yes.
like self love really helped you to be able to put out the energy that would
Yes.
bring the person that loves you?
Yes, honestly, I didn't. I'm still a little bad at it, to be honest. Some of us as women are better at giving the love, and I will admit this man has taught me that I've been being loved improperly. I'm so used to, let me do it, let me do it, let me help. I can do it, no worries. And he's like, wait a minute, like, just calm down. Take it slow. I'm like, no, I'll do it. I can do it. It almost reminds me, you remember Little Shop of Horrors? She's like, yes, doctor. I'm that person in my real life. Like, I can do it. I'll do it for you. Sure. And it's like, I
Sure,
never,
doctor.
right,
Sure.
yes.
Yes,
I
doctor.
never, right. I never got to, let me stop and love on me a little bit. To me, a friend of mine, he sent me a video. I didn't even know he was recording. He asked, he's like, when do you take time for you? I was like, at night when I want to read a book or I want to look at something on my phone. He's like, why? And as my best friend, I looked at him and I was like, we give so much. Sometimes you just lose track. If you're a mom, you give so much to your kids, and sometimes women without kids give so much to everybody else around them. But I've never stopped to realize what I really liked. I was so used to giving and giving. So the last relationship, when we talked about it, I was like, oh, throw them all away, all of them. I don't want it. Put them in a building, burn it. Like,
Baby, they had to be there. They had to be there. Like when they be like, check on your people. Like I had to come into your DM and be like, "Are you okay? Is
girl,
everything all right?"
I was so fired up because I felt neglected. But what a lot of women won't admit, I was neglecting me. I was
First.
neglecting me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wasn't. I assumed that when I love someone properly, everything else was automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
thinking that people don't love like you love, not even dialing into it. I'm a therapist, not even thinking about the love language, none of that. That stuff doesn't apply in your life for whatever reason. I wanted to be loved so badly. I was practically working for it in all the wrong ways.
Yeah,
So after
I
that,
I think I think it's hard to cut you off. I'm
you
gonna
could.
heard this. I think too, and this is odd. I think it's counterintuitive for us as women because it feels like it's selfish. Because I can honestly say I was seeing you in a selfish place, like not in a bad
Yes.
way, but in a way where you were just prioritizing your self care. I mean, it's difficult to find love when you're not in a place physically, emotionally that you want to be. So I was seeing you kind of in a selfish place where you were like, it's season me, it's about me
Oh
right
yeah.
now, and that led you to this place.
What's funny with that statement? It took me being sick again, and I've battled with ailments, and I've battled with sickness for 20 years. And literally, it's one thing after another, one thing after another. After the breakup, women are so intuitive. I remember sitting one day and said, "Do you still love me?" to my ex, and he looked at me and he didn't say anything. And I started to cry. He's like, "No, I love you." And I said, when you're ready to let go, which is hard for us as women because we are Wakanda, okay? We will fight for our men, okay? And literally, I said, when you're ready, I'm ready. Of course, when it actually had to happen, when he finally just admitted he couldn't do it anymore because he wasn't happy, he was staying for me. But I'm still in self love mode, but the man has to appreciate you being there too. Most men don't want, and I won't say most, there are some men that don't want you to do the self love thing because they're afraid they're going to lose parts of you. This man is like, I love when you love on yourself. It's sexy. You know what I mean? Like, he embraces my phoenix, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. And I did a video that's coming on Thursday. That's I don't even remember what it's called, but it's talking about the body count. But
I got to see.
before I was gonna call it the body count video, that's the underlying premise of it is that when you find yourself, you find your person. You know,
Absolutely.
as long as there are things about you that are a mystery, you can't be fully vulnerable with anyone else. So the person that loves you wants you to go on the journey of self-discovery because they want to see the area if it's an intimate relationship and you're building intimacy, they want to see the layers of you that you've hidden even from yourself.
Absolutely. And that's the joy, which is, it's scary because, like, I realize a lot of women stop dating, I think, because as we get older, we're in our 40s now, it's like, oh, he got to look at this. And you're not happy with that, or I don't know if I want him to see that, or I don't know if I like me this way and he's going to see that. I literally went through, like, of course, my hair is short under here. I tell people, he loves it. I'll take this wig off. He looks at me like, oh, that's it? Oh, yeah, honey, I ain't got no haircut. I used to have locks. When he met me, I had locks. And to me, a true locked person, the energy is in our hair. The pheromones are in our hair. So when I started a new spiritual journey, I cut them off just to grow. And, I literally have been dialing into me so much, of course, with his support. Support is its own version of love. You know what I mean? So it changed that. You know how angry I was. I was firecracking hot.
Yeah, I'm sitting here now like I don't even know. I'm sitting here typing in stuff trying to figure out where to go with this comment. So, Jovan, she says it's his energy for me, and that is just everything. You know,
Yes,
people don't understand energy cannot be destroyed, created or
absolutely.
destroyed, only transferred.
Hmm.
And let's see here, the body keeps the scorebook. Very
Yes,
true. Very
yes,
true. Very true.
yes.
Um, I do want to take you back to one thing because, like I said, I'm sitting here like let me type in some notes for myself because
Right.
this was very different than what we discussed talking
I know,
about. I
right?
mean, I'm loving it because I'm loving it because I'm still in Wakanda forever. I'm still in Wakanda
Yes,
forever for life.
yes.
I've been doing my lives without my face paint. People like you come in got war paint on. It's actually not war paint. It's tribal paint. I come in
Hello,
peace. I
teacher.
come in peace. But I do belong to a tribe of Amazons. I do belong to a tribe
Okay.
of women who are living without men right now. So
And
I
that's
do want to,
okay.
and that's okay. That's okay. I think men really don't know. They don't understand how defensive, how tough, how strong, how many boundaries you have to have as a woman when you're
Yes,
in that space by yourself. I mean, you're proof that we have this ability to be the sword, but we also have the ability to be the shield as well
absolutely.
because once we do let that love in, that love works on us.
Mhm. We love with different intentions. Men are, and I've heard men say this. I have 8 brothers. Okay, I
Okay.
lost one, so it's men everywhere. And I grew up with the boys. Like my sisters, I have a sister. I have sisters who are warriors. I tell the men in my life, as far as my siblings or my best friends, and the men that I've coached, women are natural to nurturing. That is our God given position. But that doesn't mean that we can't hold the dagger. That doesn't mean we can't be the shield. If you think about how the strength of how we are built, in Wakanda, we were warriors. In natural life, the women lions are the hunters, not the men. And that's no shade against you fellas listening. Don't take the power we have from us. Now, some of us, we don't know how to control it, but the ones that do, we don't want to necessarily say we don't need you, but we've had so many days and nights without. We've done so much without. We're guarded because it's like, I've been okay in this space by myself. And when we were talking previously, I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want it. Keep it over there because I had
I
to.
promise you were like people do not understand. I'm
I
sitting over
got a
here
fly
like,
swatter. Mm-mm.
I thought we was gonna be like the two women in Wakanda. That I thought I was gonna be the angel, and I thought we was about to. Did you
But
come
that's
over
the
here?
thing. I was angry. I've had angry moments even with him. But the beautiful part of the blossoming in the relationship is
Mm-hmm.
we can be vulnerable and upset with each other. Let a couple of days or however go past, go, can we talk about what happened? And
Mm-hmm.
he's receptive. He
Mm-hmm.
knows how to, men and women, we both have masculinity and femininity. So, fellas, you have femininity, whether you dial in,
Absolutely.
because we both have XY. And he's like, I'm going to be vulnerable. Why do you this? Or their questions, the communication. I'm guarded because I've been loving so hard. I spent 11 years in a relationship. I want to choke this man out in his sleep at some point. And then after that, it was like long lasting relationships. And at some point, I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
exhaustion to my spirit. That's
Yeah.
that's the angry you saying. I was like, I'm gonna swat them all with flies because they some liars, and
Yep.
that's where we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
That
I
sounds good to me. That
right,
sounds. I like it. I mean, that's
it's
where I'm
like
at. But I wasn't always there, in all fairness. But I will say this: I think we as women work so hard in the relationships to try to add longevity to them, to try to control the outcomes. That
yep,
we're not always present in the moments to really enjoy them. Like one thing I can say about my second marriage, for all of the things that I have to say, is that
right,
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the marriage enough that even when the marriage failed, I could still say I would like to marry again. I had great
absolutely.
experiences. I wasn't bitter against marriage
I
after
love
that
it.
failure because the relationship had been so beautiful. Like if my ex-husband had died instead of divorcing me, instead of us getting a divorce, then I would have felt fulfilled in it, you know. And
Right,
so,
because to death do us part.
yeah, I was watching, and it was a death. I mean, it just is what it is. Death doesn't come
Right.
in every form it doesn't
Amen.
come in the forms we think it will. But
Absolutely.
the amount of grief I had from it showed me that. But I was watching some TikTok reel something where he was saying that we tend to not. He said if someone asked you the worst pain you ever had in your life, you would describe it in great detail. Okay, I know who it was
Yes.
now. I'm gonna repost it. He said if someone asked you about the worst day of your life, you would want them to experience it with. You would use,
Absolutely.
decorative language. He said, but when people ask you about the good times and like your good relationships, the good things in relationships, because of how it ended, you
Yeah.
tend to want to mute out all the good, and that's so true because we go out dating these guys and they see my
Right.
ex. She didn't get me. She didn't understand. They don't ever tell you. My ex was a beautiful woman when I met
Right.
her. We had a great relationship for 5 years. Like you said, we had our ups and
Right.
downs. We couldn't figure it out and see eye to eye. I grew, she grew, and we grew away from
Right.
each other. It's always the bad. They give you
She was
the
horrible.
highlight.
Right.
They give you the low lights. you
Right.
know. And so I think it's beautiful because with someone like you don't necessarily know what the future holds. So it
Right.
gives you the energy to put into each day and each moment and make it
Absolutely.
intentional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I live for intention. Like even when I was mad at my ex, I have a process and I'm writing a book. It's called Through and Through. And it's a practice that I
Can't
teach.
wait.
And part of it is accountability. Like I have a kid's dad, you know what I mean? He's the father of both my kids, and we met young, where we knew we were in love, and all these things as you grow. And I tell people, I don't get super religious with people because we all believe what we believe, but it says you have to die to yourself daily. That's something I kept with me every day. If I'm upset, I let the upsetness have me. While it's having its way with me, I evaluate me. I always tell people, bet on yourself because you won't always be the best bet. I go into me. I was a janky baby mama at some point in my life.
Hey,
I
love it.
grew
Say
up
that one more time. You said bet on yourself.
because you can always bet on you. I always say bet on black because I'm a black woman, but I always say
Yeah.
you have to always bet on you because you are your best bet.
Best bet. Love it.
You got to do that. Like when I want to be confronted. I want a friend of mine. He said this, and I hated it when he said it back in the day. He said, "Love is a contract." And I was like, "Boy, shut up! You know what you're talking about." When I thought about it, as I got older, love is a form of a contract. You have vows. That's a contract. My thing is, I would rather have a spiritual contract with myself first. What do I want from me? I'm not looking for a man to make me happy. I used to. I thought it was the man's job to give me what I needed. As I grew as a woman, give me what I can't buy. That's your. I can buy get my wigs and my nails done. I can do that for me. A man should be responsible for that. Can I be happy without you? One of the questions I love that people never dial into is when people say, "Can you live without me?" Yes. The question should be, "Do you want to?"
Yeah. Do you want me to?
People don't dial in enough. People are so afraid, and part of those things are in my book. Down into the part of yourself that hurts because when you are repairing you'll be able to see somebody who ain't. If your glass is not even full, don't come over here. I don't care if I only got a few sips left. Put some in your glass. We're gonna toast to better days, being great or whatever. But you can't come on E and expect me to fill you up. And a lot of men, unfortunately, get women looking to be filled by them. I don't want to be filled by you. I want you to come up on me when I got a whole glass.
There it is. We can toast.
Hello. So that's where
Exactly.
I'm at. But it took me being sick to get there.
Instead of me feeling like I got my mouth all ready for some orange juice, and it
Right.
ain't nothing in the container but a swallow.
Right. And men sips ain't like women sips. You can't get them no juice and expect to have none. So you better have some of your own. Because one day they might be thirsty and you need to give them a little sip. Either way, we have these restraints on them and not on ourselves. We want them to, you got to make me happy. It's your job. First of all, it's not my job. It's not my job to make you whole. It's my job to complement your completeness. That's it. Men and women should be like accessories to each other. You make me look good. You are my hat to my gloves and my coat. You know what I mean? If I'm expecting you to keep me warm, be the hat and the glove, they only can do but so much. And we know men are logic. They one way. You ask me how does they go? Where to go? Good.
I don't know. They've been getting very emotional these days.
I love it though.
I mean, and it is, but see, the thing is, we have to balance it because I feel like it's
Absolutely.
become this scale tipping balance where it's like, okay, women are so masculine, but where are the providers and the provision? And I think what you speak of is harmony, is a happy balance
Absolutely.
because, like you said, in those vows, you say for richer and for poor and for
Better.
in sickness and in health, and those that balance has to exist within you in order for you to
Absolutely.
be able to find those notes with another person. But I will say, because I live to kill your masters. I'm here to
That's
push
right.
back. I'm
Please
here to
do.
push back. I'm gonna push back. I mean, this has been nice, kumbaya. I love it,
Right.
but
Okay.
I will say that the pH balance is off in the community right now. Okay.
You better come through. You know why? Because, listen, in order for the pH balance to be off, there's too many people playing in the sandbox. We sharing too much. Like, we can share
Yes.
feelings. Let's share some feelings. We can hold hands, but I ain't trying to share other things.
Yeah. And I think it comes down, like you said, to poor boundary management. And for women, I think it really is our time to be selfish. I think it's our time to call back a lot of energy and power that we've put out in the
Absolutely.
atmosphere in toxic situations and relationships. I'm noticing now that people, when you talk about accountability, it is one part working on yourself and growing, but it's also one part being able to being able to diagnose, being able to dissect
Yes.
situations that just when you were in that space were not good for you, Rashawn.
Right.
That when you were in those spaces, they were not good for you. And what you have to know was toxic for you as well to be able to identify what's good for you. And
He
then
said,
Rashawn,
sharing
go
is
hit this
caring.
up. Talk about sharing is caring, Rashawn.
What we
Not that,
sharing?
not that type of sharing. We're sharing our feelings.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know about
Okay.
that other sharing. People, you know what? I'm a pick with you, Rashawn. We all know. Let's take it from jokes to serious. HIV in our community is high.
Rampant, out of control, and it's coming from people lying to themselves and lying to each other, baby. It is.
I don't want to share like that, honey. I have heard the young, even my youngest is 22. I would hate that for her. Like it's literally population controlling the African American community because we want to share too much.
You better say that. You better say that. They've always given us whatever they felt like would destroy us. Whatever the most base element of society has been, we'll see it run rampant through our community. And even in the things we don't even think of, like I was talking to someone about pimp culture in the 70s and
Oh
what it
wow.
has
My
what it has
uncle was a
done to the
pimp.
culture. Baby, that pimp culture, we was in love with that,
Yes.
to crack in the communities in the 80s, to, our rap culture now,
Mhm.
to, like you said, HIV, AIDS,
Yeah.
these things that they're coming out with a, what do you call it, a vaccine for this now, like for
Hmm.
HIV now,
But
after it has pillaged a whole community of people.
but they always had the cure. It's funny because a lot of people that dialing in, a lot of us want power and won't admit that. A lot of people want the feeling of, and touching on what you just said, a lot of women don't want to be lonely. And there are some men who don't either, but we don't really sometimes understand. I had told my brother, a lot of women don't know what they want. And a lot of men don't either. We're not doing our own self homework. So we're getting stuck in situations like, well, this kind of feels good and it's not that bad. I'm gonna just hang around a little bit longer. I did that for 11 years. And when I realized at the end, I wanted to choke him out in his sleep. Okay. We have to do our self homework, our self energy, our self love. It's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah,
There were days
yeah,
I didn't want to wake up and do anything. When you caught me on that wave, I was boogie boarding to, oh hell no, I
you
was
were.
gonna ride that wave. I meant
You
that.
were. I
But I
gotta be
started loving
honest.
me.
I feel indicted today. I really do. I really do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've
Okay.
been on my tribal stuff, right? And I'm
Hmm.
really about it. I am in charge of the girls. I want to see the girls win. I want to get the girls together. I ended up on a live with Rashawn last night. Then I was on the live this morning with D. Anthony.
Hmm.
And the theme of everybody has been self accountability, which I love. I love it. I love it. Okay. The wireless woman was born out of a time of me sitting on a mountain by myself.
There it
So
is.
I'm definitely not one person that's like, you're going to be able to collectively add to the consciousness
Right.
without doing self work. I'm not that
Right.
person. But I will say he said something. D. Cooper said something this morning. He was talking about sitting in your emotions and letting your emotions beat up on you, right?
Yeah, that's
And I
bad.
don't do that. I'll be like, you know what, emotions, I'll see y'all later. I think that's our
Right. I got to
defense
go.
mechanism. Yeah, I gotta
Yes.
go. I'll be
Fight or
back.
flight.
But I feel like y'all be getting on me. I feel like I feel I feel attacked a little bit. Like I feel like
No,
y'all are
don't
getting
feel
on
attacked.
me. No, my point in what I'm saying is like you said, it's all these defense mechanisms that we have
Hmm.
to not actually deal with the emotional component of that. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you feel now, because I know like with your condition, you still gonna have these ups and these downs,
Yeah.
but do you feel now like the support that you get, the love that you have in your life is having like a positive effect on your physical,
Yes and no.
recuperation? Okay.
And I love being an open book because I feel like my testimony is to always be honest. For me, the fight or flight, and a lot of us, we've been through so much trauma, we doubt when it feels good. We doubt when it's going good. So the backup mechanism sometimes is like, oh, what's going to happen now? Because this
Yeah,
is just too
feel good
good.
feelings can create a lot of anxiety. I know exactly.
My heart is like, he ain't gonna be here for this. Or I start to psych myself out, or my sister's not gonna be able to handle me calling her at 3 in the morning, telling her I don't know what's wrong, I'm in pain. What I've learned is take it at face value. Don't try to create a mountain out of an ant hill. When I'm afraid, I say I'm afraid. My partner, he said to me, he said, why do you always say you're okay when you're not? I said manifestation. I say I'm okay because my intention is to be okay, regardless of anyone else. I have to put in the work. You're born alone, you die alone. I don't care if you're in a car full of people and it crashes, heaven forbid. My time is going to come when it comes. My accountability to whoever I serve is going to happen when it happens. And for me, I had to admit that I'm scared. I'm frightened to trust that I'm gonna get a kidney in time, but I will keep moving forward. I don't let it hold me. I have Wake Up and Kick Ass was born from depression. And that's what the book helps with. It's like there's days I will play with my own mind because my fear, because so much trauma, on and on and on and on, trying to love people who don't know what love feels like, don't know what love looks like, and neglecting myself for so long, wondering how I got here. So now I take it at face value. If I ask for somebody to be there and they go, I can't, that's it. Okay, I just keep fighting. It says in the word, you never can trust man because he will fail you every time. That doesn't mean men, that means men and women. So y'all know, because I don't want y'all to come for me. But I don't
They
have
can come.
expectations of certain things because I used to. I used to put people so high, I almost didn't have understanding of their own realities when I needed something.
Hmm.
So now I'm accountable for me. When I feel like I'm being weak, I withdraw. I don't want to give bad negative energy. And when I tell people, I call it honest, like, look, I'm scared. I just need somebody to talk to. My head is messing with me. That's something we can't do well in this community because we don't want to
Mm.
realize that mental health is real, let alone physical
It's
health.
going healthy. That's true. That's true. We just think we on positive talk and think our way through things.
Right.
And Rashawn said that he said it's hard to admit that, and that is hard work. Vulnerability is hard work, and unfortunately, we live in a community where it hasn't been safe to be vulnerable in any
Right.
way. In any
Right.
way. And so I think it's a beautiful thing that we in our sisterhood that you're finding love. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little salty about it. I'm a little
Don't be
salty.
silly.
When
It's
we
so it's
get
still
when we get
fresh.
backstage.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you though. Let
But
me
it's
tell you a
beautiful.
confession.
It's beautiful. That's the best part. I always
He
tell
hasn't
women,
said he loves me yet, but I still love him. That's the thing about
no.
empowerment, because
Yeah,
love is an action word.
it is.
I know he
And
loves
yeah.
me. I know he loves me because it's how he treats me. But I am in love with the
Okay, Jill
energy.
Scott. Okay,
And
he
you know that's my
loves
girl.
me.
That's my song
It's
too.
special. Be
Yes,
different. Okay, Jill.
yes. But that's just what I'm on. I'm taking it as what it is. Because
You
if heaven
deserve
forbid
that.
something happens, I don't want to spend time overthinking it.
You deserve that. You deserve
Thank you.
to. And they talk about that with like Selena and her father and her family. They felt like she was moving too fast in her relationship, and she had this career and she had all these other things that were more pressing and more important, but she ended up being able to share the love of a lifetime with
Yeah.
someone who got it, who
Luther said,
got
"Ain't
it.
nothing greater than love." We all know that song. Ain't nothing greater than love,
Absolutely.
especially the love
Yes.
of yourself.
Yes, trust me. Because if you were one of my other friends, I'd be like, "Girl, we got to talk. I don't know about this." But you're absolutely right. You totally and deserve to embrace that with both hands, because I know, baby, where you coming from. That's why I was like, you done threw my whole interview topic off and come in here and
Look,
look.
I can dial into that. Just let me do do. We can go there.
I mean, you done come in here and
But
laugh.
I love you though. You know when we
Just
talked
done left
about
me
this.
out here in the coldest winter
No,
ever. Me and Sister
I'm
Soldier
gonna
out
pull
here in
up
the
on
coldest
you.
winter ever. I
Look, I'm
mean,
gonna pull up on you, put you in the boat, because see that's the other thing about love. As sisters, yes, I
absolutely.
can't love you the way a man can love you, but I can still love you. That's the thing.
Yes.
We keep looking sometimes in love for the wrong
Wrong.
people, the wrong places.
Yes,
For me,
ma'am.
being in love, like he said it once accidentally, like, "Hey, I gotta get off the phone. Love you." And I was like, "Oh." I teased him, like I was like, "Oh, you know what you said? You told me you love me," and I think it scared him. But he's been in a relationship for 2.5 decades. So he's scared. Like, I am a knowledgeable woman. I'm not trying to force him anywhere. I'm in love with the energy. That's the thing. When people say, "Oh, you're in love with him," I'm in love with the energy. Energy doesn't lie. Don't get me wrong, there's been some days I wanted to push him down full force. But when I started thinking, am I giving to it? What am I expecting from it? I want to feel good. So I'm in love, and the way it's like, this feels awesome. I'm not
Yeah.
expecting anything. That's the other part. I don't have an expectation other than what I'm receiving right now and still
Yeah.
loving me.
Yeah.
Because
And
some
if
of them,
there's
they can
the
still go fall off
reciprocation
the
of that.
bridge.
Right. And if there's the
I still
reciprocal,
got that in my heart.
listen, I know. I know. I know. It's like people who keep pet tigers. Like,
Right,
yeah, they're your
right.
pet and they're super sweet. Still a tiger, though. Still a tiger. Uh, I
Absolutely.
but I get it, and I respect it, and I love it, and it's what everyone wants to have. And as long as it does feel reciprocal, as long as it makes sense, as long as it brings light and puts out darkness,
Yeah,
that is the point. So
yeah.
as we're wrapping up, I would like to know from you and hear from you, because, like I said, I've seen your journey. I remember your weightlifting days, because you had your one little swoop right here. Your lock
Girl.
days, like I've been
Yes.
there. I've been there when you were doing your thing, And
Yeah.
so, at this point where you are now, what is the convergence, if you will, of what it all means to you? Like I always think of my podcast as being like my anthology a little bit. I always think to myself, like, my kids will come back to this,
Right.
because we think it's so pointless in the moment, but then when you go back and look at those moments, like, we didn't know we would lose Twitch,
Right.
last week,
Oh,
and it can just be so people didn't know they were going to lose a takeoff, and
right.
so, none of us really ever know in a situation like you, where you have this, terminal illness, where you're, hoping and wishing and praying, but we all know it's
Right.
going to
Right.
end one day in
Right.
some form or fashion.
Right.
But what is the convergence? Like, what have you come to as a result of it all?
Um, I want my flowers now, to be honest. So a lot of people have been, oh my God, I heard, I just want you to know you're so great. It's like, treat me like I'm great. The one thing that always brings tears to my eyes is I'm not done. I realized that I was pedaling too slow. I was out doing me, thinking I had all the time. It almost reminds me of Nipsey, and Lauren London had this saying, oh, we had time. What I've learned is none of us are in a cycle where we have time. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have time. We all should wake up knowing we're dying. Not in a sense of, oh, but live like, I don't know. Freak accidents happen. I talked to a woman getting insurance for my business and lost her husband in a car accident. It wasn't his fault. We have to
Yeah,
live
I
that.
had a lady come and see me, and her husband was like a weightlifter, a body trainer, and he had been injured or something like that. He had a surgery on his hernia, and so he had been taking pain pills, but he just kind of went and getting the job done. And somebody had given him something that ended up being laced with fentanyl, and they said it was such a small amount that it shouldn't
Oh
have
my
been
God.
enough to kill him. But because he had this injury, his body was already compromised. She woke up in the bed next to him, and he had passed it in his sleep.
But see, that's the thing. Like, for me, the ideology of my life has changed. Like when I was younger, I'm like, I'm gonna just go hard in the paint. I want it all. Like I was there. I've had lots of money in my life before. I have been humbled by my own hands. Out of that, now it's like I wish I would ideas of men, money, life. We just want to play or we just want to party. Now it's like every moment means something. I have no tolerance. I am negative zero with my tolerance. Get off my phone, get out my way, because in my mind, I'm gonna let it see 100. So I wake up and operate that way. I'm gonna love on 1,000. I'm gonna live on 1,000. I cannot tolerate BS at all, because now I have to wake up and go, well, am I doing enough in this moment? Am I my legacy? Is it working the way it should? Because we all want one. That's how you live forever.
Amen.
So that's it. Is go hard or don't go. That's
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Like you said, wake up.
Kick ass.
And,
Absolutely.
and with that, I am so glad to have had you here.
Thank
I think
you.
we have to continue to encourage our sisters to check up on yourself, to
Yes.
trust our God given
Yes.
instinct about energies, to learn more about our own. A
Absolutely.
big part of having the right energy around you is the energy that you put out, but also understanding that the places where that energy isn't being reciprocated is your
Absolutely.
indicator light. That
Your
is your
spider
check
sense.
engine light. Exactly.
Right.
That is your
Listen to
check
it.
engine light. Listen to it. Listen to each other. And so you have actually given me something to think about. I feel some type of
Yes.
way
Don't feel no
because
type of way.
oh, well, I mean, I am addicted to control. Everyone who knows me knows this. They've been saying it about me. I don't believe them.
Even when you delegate, you're in control, though.
That's
Sometimes the
very true.
control is to be submissive to giving it.
Oh, you used the word submissive on my podcast. I know you get to go now. I know you get to.
I
I love you so much. And I'm
love you.
so
Thank
glad
you.
that you came over here to share your
Yeah, I'm
beautiful
excited.
energy.
Thank you.
We will be sending light and love your way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Prayers, wishes, hopes, manifestation, energy
Please,
that
yes.
you will have your needs met.
All
You've
right.
walked through
Thank
the
you.
light. Walked through this life with so much light and grace. I've been a beneficiary of it. So I
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
bringing
I
some over
appreciate
here
it.
tonight.
Yes. Sprinkle,
Make
sprinkle.
sure all my Wi-Fi's. Make sure that you follow Germany Inc. everywhere that you
Thank
find
you.
her. Go to Spotify. Definitely TikTok. That's where I'll be hanging out
I
over
love
there.
me some TikTok. And it's Germany Inc. Inke. Yeah.
Inke.
Gotta
And
put the
until
E
the
on the end.
next time, y'all.
Yes.
You already know you can clock out for me. You're dismissed. Thank you, sis.
You welcome.